very wide, good for hit scan, and then as we head into the last stage or into the castle, things get very close quarters once again. So attacking teams and often defenders have to actually vary their approach and composition over each of the 3 stages of this map for optimal situations.
I feel like Eichenwalde is one of the maps where you see the most, just vast majority of the heroes being played on.
There's variation in comps.
Yeah, a lot of variation in terms of comps, right? I mean, you can play Torb here. There's a lot of different things you do with Orisa on defense. On defense, it will be the Gladiators starting things off. And we're going to see Surefour play the Pharah here on defense. Usually you see potentially a Junkrat here, but Pharah can do kind of the same things, right? Spamming the choke with rockets. And for Shanghai, okay, so it looks like they're going to be running quad tank here at the beginning. Usually you would see quad tank with a Mercy, right, to just feed her charge to getting that res.
Yeah. There are a few teams that are playing this composition, by the way, or at least a quad tank comp. So it's time for the Dragons to go for something to mix it up. This is not standard from the Dragons, by the way. We haven't seen this in quite some time.
So the tough thing for the Dragons will be dealing with Surefour. You already see how fast he's building up towards the ult on Pharah. You're just going to be able to put down so much free, uncontested damage. We'll see, though, if Free Field and 5king can heal it on up. Well, they're not really going to be doing much healing. That's going to be 2 kills to Surefour, taking out both supports for Shanghai.
Yeah, nasty. Not much healing here. Undead is forced to take a breather with his healing ability, but that's the only way he's going to get it from. Surefour looks like he's going to be brought back to keep fighting the good fight. But as he, rises from his slumber, he sees that the Dragons have seemed to have disappeared. The fire dimmed for just a moment now, and Surefour can, of course, use his jetpacks just to get an early vision of what the Shanghai Dragons are trying to set up with. And they're going to go away from this composition.
Now Shanghai, you switched out 4 players. You changed 4 heroes on your lineup. So you're going to reset all the ults. You didn't really build up towards much there. It'll be Surefour up top here, just still firing down rockets on the Pharah. He's going to have that barrage. But you have Undead going over to the McCree. MD play Tracers. Nice shots come out there from Undead. Get him pretty weak. Now Surefour is going to go on the flank. He has a big barrage set up here.
Not bad. Let's get the 1 kill. And Surefour obviously being protected for the most part there by Bishu. The defense matrix was placed over Surefour, kind of makes a bit of a cone of silence, makes it very, very hard to stop that Pharah from getting optimum damage. And they're going to chase these kills. They're going to get themselves extra ultimate percentage, and it's also going to be longer before the Dragons are going to have 6 men to come back with. Surefour's got to respect this. Undead will punish him, and that may have been an overextension. It's a long walk back to this point for Surefour to defend.
Again, you don't have to wait for Free Field to spawn up because 5king presses them right back up into the fight.
They're trying to take advantage of this man advantage.
Now the Gladiator is going to be forced to back out a little bit. They'll get Bijou back in the mech. Now they'll start to push on through.
1 tick for the Dragons so far, and now the Gladiators have to get involved in this fight. Shaz playing very carefully. He doesn't know quite where the Dragons are set up, but he knows he needs to contribute in terms of the damage, and it looks like the Gladiators are making it happen. Roshan gets taken down by Bishu as he charges headlong in towards his Simeon assailant. It's going to be Undead to fall, and Shaz is in a rough position, but the rest of his team is there to protect him. Great peel from the tanks of the Gladiators allows Shaz to do damage and to stay alive.
And the Gladiators are able to hold on to that Transcendence. They only have to use the Valkyrie here to stay alive. You can take a look from Asher's POV. That's the pulse bomb that takes out 5king.
Yeah, almost had himself 2 kills for the price of 1 there, but it seems to have been enough to do the job. 1 minute 22 remains for the Shanghai Dragons. They have a Valkyrie here for 5king. It's going to give him that extra mobility, cause him to be able to resurrect his allies without there being an animation, so it doesn't take a few seconds, it can be instant. Asher looking in though, there's a Transcendence used by the Shanghai Dragons. Again, this is earlier than the Dragons want to use this ultimate. Asher and his team may have just forced it out of them.
We've seen that all series long, that Shanghai has used their Transcendence a little bit early. It'll be Undead taking out Asher there.
He's going to get...
he's not able to take out 5king there. They do get some other members, though. It's going to be Rocket Barrage getting a few players weak. 5king using the Valkyrie, getting the double res, bringing 2 more players back into the action. But yeah, I mean, well, there's so much players coming at him, through his front. It's so difficult to look up to get any type of contest on the Surefour there. It's 30 seconds left here. It's not looking good for Shanghai to make any type of push towards taking point A.
It's so rough for Undead as a McCree player. Yeah. You've got to look both behind you and above you at the same time. Being harassed by a Tracer and a Pharah is one of the most unpleasant things about playing McCree. And I don't blame Undead for struggling there. He did start the fight off well with that first kill.
And look to see if Big Goose gets this Valkyrie. The Gladiators play pretty aggressive, pop the Valkyrie early and take the fight to the Shanghai Dragons. As Roshan diving on in, he's going to get weak, forced to use Primal Rage.
This is the last fight here for the Dragons. They need to get this point so they can continue moving on this round. It doesn't seem to have started stellar though. Surefour now finds Free Field in the corner, gets 1 big rocket on him. That does going to make him hurt. Remix gets rezzed up back in the fight, so the Gladiators still have 6 players with Undead going down. No, Asher gives up his life to get the kill on the enemy McCree. Big Goose opts to bring up Remix instead. Perhaps a second time in that fight. Bishi taking cover right now again. Where is the enemy, he wonders, as the Dragons have sort of taken a brief pause in this fight, but Shaz again picks off Roshan. Bishi going hunting for Five King, trying to find the Mercy, doesn't quite get it. No, he does. Five King tries to slip away undetected, and Bishi's going to punish him for his hubris. Now up on the point, still being contested by both sides, and this is everything for the Shanghai Dragons. Last chance for them to make something happen here. The self-destruct claims Remix, but MG is punished, and there's nowhere to be seen on the point. The Dragons give it all, and it's not enough. The Gladiators, those shields are standing tall, Matt.
Tremendous defense from the Los Angeles Gladiators. Surefour on the Pharah. Now, they had a lot of issues, Shanghai, in dealing with the Pharah on Ilios. It kind of carries over in to our final map here on Eichenwalde, where they were not able to get Surefour out of the sky, which seemed like for the entire game, he was able to put down so much damage. The one time you were talking about where Undead needed to look up, it was so difficult because I believe he just gets rezzed. Then he has Remix jumping right at him, I know, playing the Winston. And then, I mean, he takes up so much space in your actual just POV, right, where you're not really able to see where Surefour is in the sky because Winston, as such a large hero, gets in your face and obviously putting down some damage as well.
The Gladiators are providing so much consistent pressure that the Dragons are struggling to juggle all the priorities that they have as an attacking team. And you'd think in the game of Overwatch that the attackers would have a chance to dictate the flow of the game. They can decide when the fight starts. Not so much when you're dealing with a Pharah and a Tracer and an enemy Zenyatta behind his tank line, dishing out huge amounts of damage. The Dragons, as soon as they get out of their spawn, they're beset upon all sides, and the Gladiators are not giving them any room to breathe. And again, when you're running a McCree, as the Dragons were, that's a very good way to shut down the gunslinger, as he often has to look up, down, left, right, behind, and inside.
And just like how they did on Ilios, the Gladiators just used great teamwork to be able to make this Pharah work, because Surefour finishes that first half with 31% of team damage. Only 8 eliminations, though. Bishu with 20 eliminations, and Asher with 19. That tells me that a lot of damage coming down from Surefour, and then Bishu on the Diva and Asher on the Tracer doing a nice job getting in, finishing these players off.
So focus fire has been very good from the Gladiators. They're singling out individual targets on the Dragons, and they're putting all of their resources into eliminating them one by one. That's what you want to see at this level. Undead is going to play the Soldier 76 now. I think he wants to play a bit safer than on the McCree. 76 is a little bit more self-sufficient, has self-healing, and could run away in a pinch.
The Gladiators will play the Pharah on offense here, so Surefour will take up Pharah responsibilities yet again. This time Undead will not play free, he'll play 76.
Oh, that's so nasty.
That can't happen right away. I mean, Dia has to play a little bit more careful in that because you have to know you only really have one great opportunity to hold on defense.
Okay, it's traded out. Undead eventually finds a kill on Surefour, but you can see that Five King was hoping to get a resurrect on his Pharah player, but he couldn't. He was forced away by the rest of the Gladiators. Now again, they're not giving them any room to breathe. This is great aggression, good tempo and pressure being applied on Asher. Pulse Bomb, this could be super nasty, but no, the Shanghai Dragons scramble away from the explosive device. Dropped lazily on the ground, and now Asher's going to keep them inside the hunting lodge if he can, but MG comes out. 3 kills, but note that all of them, or 2 of them should I say, were assisted by Zenyatta Discord Orbs. Gets the D-suit, gets 2 kills. That's big, and Shanghai holds.
That could have gotten ugly quick. And Dia falls there at the beginning. You put a lot of pressure on Undead and MG to deal with the Pharah that's coming at you. MG picks up 3 kills there towards the end. But now they have switched off the Pharah. Dia will go to Tracer. Probably want to get back. Yeah, extremely low here.
Oh, it's mini Diva kill. That's so huge. Thanks for the replay. We wouldn't have known otherwise. That is so impressive. With a Buddy Blaster, that's a way to add insult to injury.
Now Surefour, though, building up towards that rocket barrage. It'll be Shaz using the Transcendence. Five King will use the Valkyrie here. As see Surefour just playing around the corner, able to land 2 nice rockets onto Undead. It'll be Five King using a res onto Roshan, trying to keep him in the action. There comes the rocket barrage out of Surefour, gets nothing with it.
Five King's done a great job staying alive and getting these resurrects, but it might not be enough to keep the Gladiators away from their front door. They're knocking, and Surefour's already found MG in the fight. There's no resurrect available for Five King. He needs to take a back seat. His Valkyrie also has expired, so he has less healing and less mobility, and that's going to prevent him from escaping as Remix bears down upon him. Welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and video games, and the Gladiators are looking real good now. It's so far to walk back for the Dragons. They probably don't have anyone remotely close enough. It's MG to try and keep this one stalled out a little bit longer, but again, he's dispatched very, very quickly. Time's up, Dragons. That's the series. A big bit of 4 Overwatch for you as the Gladiators